The British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
Hello and welcome to your late afternoon cast to 3:30. My name is Grace Chen. Here is what is making headlines now. Clubs Day is happening on campus today. This is a chance for students to get together to explore their interests for the vast array of club opportunities available. Reporter Jacob Fraser is here to talk about the fair and the Enactus Club specifically, and how it lets students explore the world of business.
BCIT is home to over 50 clubs on campus. These range from anime club to motorsports. Clubs Day is the first opportunity for current members to introduce students to possible interests they may have. Ethan Van Dyke is the current president of the Enactus Club. He says his experience has allowed him to explore his interests in business.
I joined Enactus last year and I was put into a sponsorship role. So my role was community engagement and building our partnerships. And through that, I saw the potential of the club. I loved that I got to go out and do things. I was in my classes, and then afterwards, I was in meetings with CEOs.
Enactus, along with many other clubs, are looking to recruit new members and are offering many leadership opportunities. Jacob Fraser, BCIT's The Crow.
The province is working with the federal government to fight against cyber attacks to guard its information systems. The Ministry of Citizen Services say that the new agreement gives the province access to cyber defense services that will advance its ability to defend, detect, and respond to cyber threats. This venture comes after the BC government went through a sophisticated cyber attack that was initiated by state or state-sponsored actors. Hackers also targeted BC Libraries and London Drugs, which forced the company to shut down its stores across Western Canada for over a week. The Ministry of Citizen Services say it has worked to improve security controls. A rally is taking place in New Westminster to support Handy-Dart workers. They have been on strike since last week after rejecting an offer from a third-party company. Alessio Cusano is here with more details about the rallies.
Outside of TransLink headquarters in New West, hundreds scattered to protest against TransLink and third-party company TransDev that runs Handy-Dart. The transit service is on strike due to not coming to a new contract agreement with TransDev. Ryan Jones, Handy-Dart training supervisor, explains why workers aren't very thrilled on TransDev.
They're an international acquisition company that runs a lot of transportation services around the world. And we feel we should be brought in-house and operated by TransLink because our taxpayer dollars are being sent to Europe rather than here in Canada.
TransDev has stated that their main priority remains to reach a fair, balanced contract that fills the needs of their employees, Handy Dart clients, and taxpayers. Alessio Cusano, BCIT's The Crow.
Next up, we have Alessio Cusano joining us today to talk about the ongoing transit strike with Handy Dart in recent weeks and his in-person observations at the rally. So, Alessio, have these rallies been a step closer to reaching an agreement yet?
Well, yeah, you haven't been saying that the rallies have been making a stand, as Transdev has said. They'll be responding to a new proposal from the union representing the striking workers on Thursday, after no agreements were reached in talks that took place earlier on Sunday.
And why does Handy Dart want to be brought in-house?
So Handy Dart wants to be brought in-house by TransLink because right now Transdev is a French company that takes a profit of the taxpayer money that's being put towards Handy Dart services. With Handy Dart being brought in-house, those taxpayers will stay in Canada with TransLink.
Thank you, Alessio.
Thank you.
Business leaders across BC are urging the province's political parties to deliver a clear and actionable plan to revitalize their economy. Groups who represent the forestry and mining industries, independent businesses, and contractors sent a 10-question survey to political leaders ahead of the fall election. They are asking for a succinct response on what their economic visions are and concrete steps to get there. The Business Council of British Columbia President Laura Jones says that they have met residents express a loss of hope in their prospect of building a good life because of economic concerns.
I want to acknowledge the economic uncertainties. Like other provinces, we saw in the last year. As I mentioned, with the release of our public accounts last month, those uncertainties are still with us today. While global inflation is showing signs of easing and we've seen cuts to the Bank of Canada's interest rates, we know that the challenges are not over.
The tensions in the Middle East continue as an Israeli strike kills at least 19 people in Gaza, according to Gaza's health ministry. The civil defense first responders who work for the Hamas-run government say the strike left craters up to 10 meters deep. The Israel military chimes in to say it used precise munitions against a group of militants. Gaza's health ministry say the death toll could be higher.
The Israeli army says it carried out airstrikes on a Hamas control and command center in Gaza's declared humanitarian zone. The IDF reporting several Hamas militants killed, including some top commanders. But local health officials reporting the airstrikes killed 40 Gazans and injured dozens of others. The powerful strike setting off fires and leaving 3 huge craters in the tent city where tens of thousands of displaced Gazans are sheltering. It comes as Gaza's ceasefire talks appear to have stalled again. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Ahead of the 9/11 memorial tomorrow, comedian and a champion for first responders Jon Stewart is pressing for change. He wants a breakthrough to get the first 9/11 troops full care. The first U.S. troops to deploy after the 9/11 attacks are suffering from radiation exposure that the government has still not officially recognized 23 years later. Troops that were sent to a former Soviet base in Uzbekistan found clumps of yellow powder that a Defense Department site assessment showed was highly radioactive uranium. Years since, thousands of veterans have experienced cancers and kidney problems in which the government has not yet covered their medical bills for. Stewart is pressing the Biden administration to get them support. Moving on to weather, this afternoon sees a mix of sun and cloud. It is currently 20 degrees Celsius, so be sure to go out and soak up the sunshine while it lasts. That is all for your late afternoon cast to 3:30. My name is Grace Chen for BCIT's The Crow. See you next time.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Teresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.